So we out of here. So don't mind this craziness. I'm about to go get a haircut. So if you watch the end of this video, let me know what you think of the haircut that I'm about to get. But recently, my brother-in-law just bought a cool investment property. It is beat up, but it's in a great location. We got a great deal on it and we're gonna start working on it. And I'm looking forward to sharing that journey with you guys. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna share a little bit behind the scenes of us getting into the investment space. But as a real estate agent, I've actually been working with investors for a long time now. I've worked with developers, I've worked with investors personally. I have a database full of investors that I can call if I ever find an investment opportunity. So, you know, working with investments could be super profitable, but a lot of real estate agents don't know how to do it. So I'm gonna give you 5 tips on working with investors in this video, so stay tuned. So when working with investors, the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you're proactive and you're direct, right? So communication is super important when it comes to clients in general, right? So whether you're working with sellers or buyers traditionally, or working with investors, you want to make sure that your communication is very direct. If it's a good deal, it's a good deal. If it's not a good deal, or you have any questions about the deal or you don't know, you want to make sure that you relay that information properly, because if you don't, you could hurt your relationship with them. They may not trust you again. So you want to make sure that when relaying any specific type of information, just like with traditional clients, you want to make sure you're direct and you're also proactive in regards to any issues that may arise, right? So for example, I had a client that was an investor and they had there was a CO issue on the property, right? So in regards to one of the bathrooms, they weren't legal, right? So what I did was I made sure that that was potentially an issue, right? So if he wanted to get that permitted, he had to, but the work was already done. It was a fully renovated bathroom in the basement, but it wasn't on the CO, so which is the certificate of occupancy. So I made sure that they knew that issue going in and they weren't blindsided, which they really appreciated. And then when they ended up reselling the property, they ended up listing with me. So now I had a fully renovated property that I was able to work with as well on the sales side, right? So I found them a great deal. I got them a bathroom that just needed to get the architecture's approval, and it worked really good. Also, quick little bonus caveat, you also want to speak and understand investor, right? So a lot of real estate investors throw out all these different acronyms like ARV, which is hey look, speaking of the devil.
Where you going?
Huh? I'm actually going to a haircut.
Oh, you got a haircut? I was gonna call you, I dropped him off from the airport and swing by your house after.
I will see you later then.
Cool.
It's so cool. I'm making a video about you. Yeah, crazy. You want to make sure that you understand what an ARV is, right? Like after repair values. You want to make sure you understand what a cap rate is. You want to understand rent roll. You want to really understand how the hard money process works, right? Even maybe connect with some hard money lenders so you can be a resource to your potential investor, right? You have to understand what a 1031 is. You might want to have a 1031 attorney on call, right? So you want to understand all these different aspects and facets of investing so that you can speak their language. Because think about it, if you're speaking Mandarin and I'm speaking English, or I'm speaking Mandarin, you're speaking English, how deep can that relationship get? So you want to speak the same language. So there you go, that's a bonus caveat. The second thing that you want to get really good at is identifying numbers, right? So you need to know what the rent roll is if it's an investor that's buying and holding. You need to know what the top of the market is, what the bottom of the market is, in case, you know, that person is looking to potentially flip a property, right? If someone's flipping a property, they need to know what potentially they can get if they put high-end finishes in it, right? You also need to know your particular market, right? What a high-end finish in your market looks like, right? Is this a luxury flip? Is this a, you know, a blue collar neighborhood, so on and so forth? You need to know what the pricing of that particular neighborhood is, what expired in that neighborhood, right? So what has been too pricey that didn't sell in the neighborhood. So you want to really know your numbers. If you know your numbers, investors are going to trust you a little more. Obviously, they should run their own numbers, so they shouldn't only rely on your numbers. However, if their numbers are similar to your numbers, then they know, okay, they can trust you, and it really helps solidify that relationship. Charlotte area, check out my man Vanilla Slice. He freaking did an amazing job. Now when I run by people, they're gonna be like, that guy got a cool cut. There you go, guys. I got my haircut done. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. When I run by people, is that gonna look cool? Because I am running a duathlon in a little bit. But this leads us to number 3, right? So you need to be good at finding deals, right? So as a real estate agent, obviously, you know, we're always looking for buyers, we're always looking for sellers, right? But when you're in the investment space, you also have to be able constantly to look for potential deals, right? You can no longer be just a real estate agent in this space anymore. If you really want to make it and last in this business, you have to be the real estate plug. You have to connect people with the right industries, right? So whether it be inspectors, hard money lenders in general, 1031 specialists, so on and so forth. You need to be able to provide that value, and on top of that, you have to be pounding the pavement and actually calling and trying to get these deals for these investors, right? Because listen, if you don't have deals, what's the point of collecting investors? So with that being said, you also have to be kind of position yourself as a real estate entrepreneur, right? Because sometimes you're going to find a deal that's amazing. You might want to take it on yourself, right? Or you might want to wholesale a deal, right? You find an opportunity to you know, be that middleman, but and not just do it on the real estate side. You might want to do it on the wholesaling side, right? So for example, you buy a house for $100,000 that has an ARV of $350. You might want to make a quick $50,000 there, right? So there's a lot of different opportunities, but those opportunities are only going to come if you spend time, a majority of your time, prospecting and trying to find deals. If you become good at that, the investors will follow. This leads us to tip number 4, which is you do not only work with one real estate investor. Trust me, I understand that loyalty is super important. However, one investor might be into buying and holding, one investor might be into flipping, one investor might be into both, right? And one deal isn't like perfect for everybody, right? Some people have their own hard money, some people have to borrow money, and privately fund money, right? So there's a whole bunch of different elements, but it's always a good idea to have a nice book of business when it comes to investors, but make sure you send it to all of them, right? There's no such thing as, oh, I only work with one investor. It's not really a thing, because one investor is not only working with one realtor, right? So there's no such thing as an exclusive relationship when it comes to that. So remember that, make sure that you're working with multiple investors. Last but not least, which leads us to tip number 5, which is make sure you understand your particular niche market better than anybody, right? So if investors going to you, they need to know exactly, let's say if they're a buy and holder, right? How much does the average 2-bedroom, 1-bath go for? How much does the average 2-bedroom, 2-bath go for, right? And obviously we can always run these numbers, but if you're kind of in a pinch and you're talking to them on the spot, it looks really good to have a tight range that you're constantly working with. You should be always up to date on what's coming on the market in regards to the MLS, you know, what the top of the market is, like we said before, what the bottom of the market is. So you need to know what's in demand in your specific neighborhoods, right? So for example, you know, I actually had a client that was thinking about putting a 5th bedroom into a house, right? Or cutting down the size of one of the rooms to add a 5th bedroom, right? And I told him that's not really gonna add that much value, because once you go past 3 bedrooms, it doesn't really add too much value in this particular neighborhood, right? So obviously with a family-based neighborhood that has a lot of families, the bigger the house is, the better, right? But for specific homes or specific areas where the school district may not be great or whatever it may be, you know, sometimes it doesn't really add that much value, right? So you need to have a great understanding of your particular market and be able to advise a little more eloquently, you can say. So there you have it, guys. Those are 5 tips of working with a real estate investor. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us via DM. And as always, it's brought to you by Design for Agents, an e-commerce geared to making sure you have what you need to succeed in your real estate business, whether it be marketing, branding. Go check out our newest Agent Planner Pro. It's hardcover. It's really selling out quickly. It's one of our top sellers, so go check that out. And as always, guys, make sure that you're working hard and working safe. We out. Say bye. Thanks for watching, guys. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, because every Tuesday and Friday we're going to bring you education for real estate agents for free $99. So check out our most popular video, or just subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with it. See you guys later.